Welcome back. You're watching To The Point. The Hindu Mahasabha has written to the Prime Minister for permission to erect statues of Nathuram Godse in markets and public places in 5 or 6 large cities. Sadly, this is not the first time the Mahatma's murderer has been considered a hero. Last week, BJP MP Sakshi Maharaj called him a patriot before apologizing for doing so. So tonight we ask, how does the Mahasabha justify this appalling proposal? And what will be the government's response? My guests are the official spokesperson of the Hindu Mahasabha, Rakesh Ranjan, a former member of Mr. Modi's cabinet when he was Chief Minister of Gujarat, Jai Narayan Vyas, and Congress spokesperson C.R. Kesavan. Mr. Ranjan, Nathuram Godse was a murderer. He murdered Mahatma Gandhi, the father of the country. Why do you want his statue put up in public places?
Mahatma Gandhi is not the father of nation.
But he
this
is.
Has been denied. No, this has been legally denied. B, murdering for a cause doesn't make a man villain.
I beg your pardon?
This country.
You mean murder for a cause is acceptable?
Acceptable, yes, it is.
So if I say that in the interest of humanity, which is a good cause, I should strangle you to death, I become a very acceptable person.
Of course, army does that.
Army does it to save the country from war and from an enemy. Surely you can't equate Nathuram Godse with a soldier.
Nathuram Godse did the same thing because Mr. Gandhi is conspired for murder of over 10 lakh Hindus and partition of this country.
So your
position
therefore is that Nathuram Godse, who was tried and hanged for murder, is in your eyes not a criminal?
No, he is not. He is a hero for us.
He's a hero for you.
Absolutely.
Mr. Kesavan, you've just heard a new philosophy, or at any rate a new attitude to murder. Murder for a cause is not murder. If the cause is acceptable, the murderer is in fact a hero. How do you respond to that interpretation of Nathuram Godse?
Calling Nathuram Godse a patriot or a nationalist is unpardonable, reprehensible and inexcusable. Comparing, Nathuram Godse to a nationalist is like saying all the people, the Taliban who killed all the children in Peshawar are heroes and nationalists. It's as, abhorring as that. Let me tell you one thing, Karan, the larger problem is this. The larger problem is, the BJP has created an enabling environment for all, vitiating this atmosphere. And not just the Hindu Mahasabha. Look at what the BJP has done on one side.
Stick
you have
to this
the Prime
subject.
Minister who talks about Gandhi, the ideals and principles of Gandhi. And now you have,
this subject.
People talk about Gandhi Vad and justify it. My larger point, Karan, is this. See, I'll give you an example. In October, it is not an ad hoc incident. In October, there was a gentleman called Gopalakrishnan who was a member of parliament candidate from Chalakudi of the BJP. He said Godse was a great hero and he should have killed Nehru instead of Gandhi. And then you see what happened in November 15th in Maharashtra. They celebrated Shaurya Divas for Nathuram Godse. What is happening? Whither India? Where is India going? My straight question is this to Mr. Jai Narayan Vyas. Is the BJP spineless? Is the BJP helpless to rein in these elements? They are not fringe elements. Sakshi Maharaj was a 4-time MP. Or do they have the tacit support of the BJP to perpetrate this?
Just pause, Mr. Kesavan. You've raised the question. Let Mr. Jai Narayan Vyas answer it. And let me put the question like this, Mr. Vyas. The BJP usually champions Hindu causes. You usually support Hindu causes. And you have a perfect right to do so. But do you support the Hindu Mahasabha's demand that Nathuram Godse's statue should be put up in public places?
Rely upon what was amply clarified by two of our senior leaders, Mr. Naqvi and Mr. Venkaiah Naidu, who said that there is no question of honoring Gandhi's killers. He is respectable and is respected as the father of nation. And as far as Bharatiya Janata Party's stand is concerned, that has been amply clarified. Unfortunately,
we've lost Mr. Vyas at that point. Let me take up the argument you were making, because it's a beguiling one but a fallacious one. You say that murder for a cause is not murder. The Taliban on Tuesday murdered, let me finish, then you answer. Murdered 141 people, 132 of whom were innocent children. They believe they were justified by the cause. Therefore, they're not murderers. Therefore, would you agree?
No, absolutely not. In this case, Gandhi conspired and caused a situation where over 10 lakh Hindus lost their life, 1/3 of India, 33% of Indian land was lost. in the form of Islamic country. Over 11 lakh people were forced to leave that land.
In your interpretation only.
Hold on. Let me finish. Okay. And there was no system in the existing legal setup of this country to punish Mr. Gandhi
so
for his crime.
Nathuram Godse decided to play
yes,
God.
Of course.
Is it justified for any man to be so confident of his own beliefs that he plays God?
He has given his statement. And you kindly refer the Khosla Commission's inquiry.
At the end of the day,
why the
a court
government
found him guilty. Do you not believe that the verdict of the courts of India is supreme?
He himself said that. He accepted.
Then why do you choose to consider a man, a court considered a criminal, a hero?
No, he gave his supreme sacrifice.
Let me put it like this, Mr. Vyas. Unfortunately, this is not the first time someone who is seen as an ally of yours ends up regarding Nathuram Godse as a hero, believing that he's on par, if not better than the Mahatma. Shakshi Maharaj last week, before he had to apologize, considered Nathuram Godse a patriot. Why do your allies and supporters continually embarrass you?
Well, Karan, we have made our official position absolutely clarified. I would even go beyond and say that teeth for teeth and eye for eye is a jungle rule. Even if you submit to or agree with the kind of logic that has been extended, you know, nobody empowers a person living in a civic society to take arms and kill somebody because he thinks that he has committed some crime. It is absolutely unacceptable. It is
then Mr. Vyas, why don't you remove the name of Akbar Road, Babur Road and Humayun Road and Aurangzeb Road?
Karan, can I come in?
Because they are accused of murdering millions of Hindus in this country.
I'll come to you in a moment's time, Mr. Kesavan.
No,
the point being made.
Not the issue.
The point being made. Let me put this.
Because they were also murderers, invaders of this country.
Mr. Vyas, answer this point, because in the eyes of Mr. Ranjan, it's convincing logic, and hopefully you can destroy it. He says, if you believe that in fact the position you're stating is correct, then go on and change the names of Akbar Road and Aurangzeb Road and Humayun Road, because he deems them to be criminals and murderers. And he says that if you're going to honor Akbar and Aurangzeb, then you ought to be honoring Nathuram Godse. Answer that for me.
Well, Karan, if you go by that, you know, you will have to make several changes, and then rest assured, the future will also make several changes.
Dr. Ranjan, let him talk. Please. Carry on, Mr. Vyas.
The history is not changed like that. You have accepted for so many years, you have been part of the history, and whatever you may talk right now, it is your view, personal view, or a view of an organization, and it cannot dictate the national view or the national policy.
Mr. Kesavan, so do you think this is not a dialogue between the two of you, so please don't interrupt him. Mr. Kesavan, let me put it like this. Mahatma Gandhi was not just the father of the country, he was in addition president of the Congress party. He's very closely associated with that party. Yet up till now, on this proposal that the Mahasabha has mooted, I haven't seen any Congress speak up and criticize them. All I've heard is deafening silence from the Congress party on this proposal. Why are you not speaking out? Why are you not criticizing the Mahasabha?
That is entirely untrue, Karan. When the issue of Sakshi Maharaj calling Gandhiji's assassin a patriot, I mean, we protested. Today is the first day this issue has come up. But let me ask you, we did raise it in the Maharashtra Assembly. I told you, on November 15th, they celebrated Shaurya Divas. And I want to take back, you know, you're a good connoisseur of history. In 1998, there was a play called I Am Nathuram Godse Speaking, which was banned by the central government led by Vajpayee ji, who was a liberal. He instructed the Shiv Sena, BJP government to ban it. It was banned. Why didn't the Shaurya Divas was not banned on November 15th? The BJP government took over on October 31st. That is because they are tacitly supporting it. Let me tell you this. If with what Mr. Venkaiah Naidu and what Mr. Naqvi said was true, they should have banned this. The issue is this. They are indulging in verbal calisthenics. They are indulging in verbal jugglery. But they are not taking a firm stand.
Okay.
Karan, the whole nation is saying first it was Ram Ram. That was the slogan of BJP. Now it's Nathuram Nathuram. Let them have the courage to come and say we condemn the Hindu Mahasabha and we will condemn Hindu Mahasabha and let the Hindu Mahasabha on the other hand say,
let me put that to, in fact, Mr. Vyas. Mr. Vyas, there is a lot of deep concern at the moment in the country that on a variety of different issues, be it conversions, be it Hindutva-like statements made by people like Sushma Swaraj, be it even converting Christmas into Good Governance Day, this government is tilting in a particular direction. Now is your opportunity, when a formal letter is going from the Hindu Mahasabha to the Prime Minister proposing Nathuram Godse statues be put up in public places, for the Prime Minister to rebuke the Mahasabha and to make it crystal clear that this sort of attitude and denigration of the Mahatma is utterly unacceptable. Will the Prime Minister publicly rebuke the Mahasabha, or will he be a little bit too worried because he might fear that he's ending up losing some votes? Which will it be?
Good, Karan, you raised this issue. You will agree with me that any member of the cabinet speaking out is speaking in his individual capacity and also on behalf of the joint.
But the Prime Minister has more authority than individual members,
so
doesn't he? That's why he's Prime Minister.
So
and on some issues, the PM's voice needs to be heard.
No, he is head of the government. I'm telling you, Karan, he is head of the government. And when his minister has said it in no unclear words, no uncertain words, that there is no question of honoring the killers of Mahatma Gandhi, it is
because he's Prime Minister, the final word is his, and people want to hear the Prime Minister speak. You can't always delegate important messages to your ministers. That's why you're Prime Minister. He has a moral duty when the father of the nation is being denigrated. Remember, it's not an ordinary man, it's the father of the nation. Surely Mr. Modi should rebuke the Mahasabha and do it publicly. If he doesn't, people will think he's playing expedient politics instead.
Well, Mr. Karan, let me clarify. This is not the first time demand.
See, that was your chance to answer, and Mr. Ranjan is doing the answering instead. Your silence has become his opportunity. He's proving my point.
We have been demanding it from previous governments. We demanded from Manmohan Singh government. We demanded from Shastri's government. We demanded from Indira Gandhi's government.
And none of them gave it.
Hold on. We got certain letters. Of course, I cannot declare everything publicly on a channel that what kind of correspondence we received from successive governments. And at the same time,
you're saying to me that earlier governments were more receptive to your attitude to Nathuram Godse? Is that what you're saying?
Of course.
In which case, I ask you, I ask you, you can't make that allegation without naming the governments, otherwise you're casting aspersions. Name the governments who claim were more sympathetic.
Let me finish my statement. The B is, court after 30 years, in last 30 years, released most of the document. For that, we moved to the Supreme Court, and Supreme Court ordered that all the court documents.
Let's not get lost in detail. You're claiming that there were earlier governments who were more receptive to you, and I'm demanding that you name them.
Of course, the previous government, immediately before Mr. Narendra Modi's government.
What did they do?
We wrote a letter, we received a reply.
Oh, that's all. The reply may not have been in agreement with you.
Reply categorically said that we will look into this matter. Of course, that's the usual way of working in the government.
So I don't understand what point you're making. Then, having suggested earlier that earlier governments were more receptive, you're now backing out of it. You're now playing politics with me. I'm going to go back to you, Mr. Vyas, because I think this is a critical issue, and I want you to have the last word, because I think your word in a way could reassure the country. Will Mr. Modi, as Prime Minister, rebuke the Mahasabha for this appalling suggestion?
Well,
I do agree with you, Karan, but let us also understand that Mr. Modi, as the Prime Minister, also has his own privilege. Whether he should speak or whether he is member of parliament, member of his cabinet should have his view.
Mr. Vyas, the Prime Minister has a privilege, but he also has an obligation. Sometimes there's an obligation on the Prime Minister to address issues because the country requires it and demands it.
There are clearly laid down parliamentary procedures and the responsibilities.
There is no parliamentary procedure laid down in this matter. Someone writes to the Prime Minister wanting permission to put up a statue of Mahatma.
They can't take a stand whether the murder of the father of the nation should be honored. It is shameful. The BJP owes an explanation to the people. This is shameful. They can't give a yes or a no. They should say, the answer should be a categorical, equivocal no. Why are they dithering?
Mr. Vyas, this is your last chance. This is an issue that is acquiring a moral stature. Will the Prime Minister speak out?
You can say no on the show.
Mr. Kesavan, please keep quiet. You're not Mr. Vyas. You haven't changed your name as yet.
Prime Minister only. What is the logic in it? I will like to first understand what is the logic. Where the Parliamentary Affairs Minister, who is one of the senior-most ministers in the Parliament and the Cabinet, he himself has made the government position very clear.
It looks to me as if the Prime Minister is playing expedient politics rather than rise to a moral responsibility. The country will feel he was wanting at a moment when a test was required. He decided to put politics or procedure or protocol ahead of moral duty. Is that how Mr. Modi wants to be remembered?
Well, let that be judged by the people of this country at large. He is absolutely in his own right to give this clarification of the policy through one of his senior-most ministers, and that having been done, I think the matter stands adequately clarified.
Well, I'm not sure if the matter stands adequately clarified, but that is sufficient for this show, because we're going to end on that indeterminate note where, as you said, protocol and procedure are more important than moral responsibility. I hope the Prime Minister doesn't take your advice, and I hope he does rebuke the Mahasabha, but we have to wait and see if he does. My thanks to my guests for joining me, and there we end this particular episode. If you have been, thanks for watching.